Hey guys, it's Michaela. It's been a while, and so I just wanted to come on with an update. It's so interesting because the last few weeks I have felt like major perfectionism around this channel. Um, my office got rearranged, and I was trying to figure out microphones and how I wanted to reset things up, and I just got like so caught up in how things were going to look and how the sound was going to be and all of that, and it made me stop, not give up. I've This channel is like constantly on my mind, but it did definitely make me pause. Um, and then there was something else that made me also pause, which I'm excited to talk about, um, because it's just so life. And it has to do with my cycle. So, just to give you a little update, I'm recording this on I don't know the exact day, but I just ovulated like in the last day or two. So probably like day 15, 16-ish. I'm in my, kind of post ovulation, moving into luteal phase. And yeah, but what's crazy interesting to me is my last cycle was like 37 days, which has not happened to me. I went back, I've been tracking for a long time. I haven't had a cycle that long almost ever. With the exception of times that like I lost my cycle. But this is what I'm so excited to tell you guys is I was like recording, making these videos, and then I thought I lost my period because usually I bleed on like day 26 or 8. And so, day like 30 comes around and I'm like, okay, maybe it's late. And then 32, and I'm like, okay, I've completely missed this period. And here I have a channel where I'm talking about menstrual health. Like, how, like, who am I to be creating content about this? And I really kind of like spun out for like a week. I was like, I'm so passionate about this. Um, but I think I just felt like to be on the internet to talk about things, you have to be an expert, which I don't want to be. Like, I never have wanted to come on here and be like, I know everything about menstrual cycles. I've just had a lot of interesting experiences with my cycle that have made me like really look into it and learn a lot. And I'm telling you, every time I pay attention to my cycle, I learn something brand new. And this was the case again. So yeah, so I'm on like day 34 now, and it basically felt like I had been in my luteal phase for like 3 weeks. It was miserable. Like, I was not feeling great. And, I was feeling like concerned that my body just like wasn't working, and I was kind of looking at all these different areas of my life, what could be impacting my cycle. And honestly, I think there were a lot of contributing factors to the length of my cycle. I have a few things that make sense to me that I'm going to share. And then, and I think they all go together. Maybe you'll kind of pick out, explanations that sound more legit to you. Maybe you'll agree, maybe whatever. But when I look at the facts of what was happening during that time, we've had a lot going on in our country there, and particularly in my state of Utah. It's just been, that was it's been a wild few weeks. And so I think a lot of stress contributed for sure, like, no doubt. I think, yeah. But what's interesting is the solar eclipse also started when I was supposed to be starting my bleed. And as I've done more research on phases of the moon and bleeding with the moon, when you bleed in rhythm with the moon has a lot to do with what you're creating in your life. And when it comes to a solar eclipse, you're going through like a portal. It's like a time of like transformation and shedding. And so, on an energetic level, I really feel like I was building up to really shed a lot and to really go through like a full transformation. And there was a lot that came up for me in that week that I was like, this is not going to exist in my reality anymore, because it was right there in front of my face. Things related with like my mental health and things that I'm like, I'm ready. Like, I'm ready to really, really let this go. And so it ended up being like a really, in that way, as I look back, beautiful week for me in that sense. And honestly, I kind of hit like a day, it was like rock bottom, which I didn't know it at the time. It was the day before my bleed. And, you know, I even was thinking like, is my body just like not working? Anyway, the next day I wake up and I felt relief like no other. Like, it was like all this weight had just like come off, and it was raining, and I opened up the door and got my like breakfast and literally sat by the door and just like looked outside and listened to the rain for like an hour, and just felt so much peace, which I really felt like I hadn't really felt in like 3 weeks. And I was like, you know what? It's okay. Like, this period not coming is more information. I just felt peace. Like, I was totally at peace with where everything was at. And of course, you know what's about to happen. Then I go to the bathroom and there's like my first sign of blood for my period. And I'm not kidding you. I realized there was like a post on Instagram. This was at like 2 p.m. and at 12, I believe 19 p.m. So just like less than 2 hours prior, we had shifted into the fall equinox. So like, anyway, it just felt really, really magical to me that like I was like in rhythm with nature and seasons, and I'm ready for all the woo comments, you know, like, because it's just true. Like, it's exactly what happened, and everything lines up, and it just made me wonder if like, wow, maybe I'm just the most in sync with my cycle I've ever been. Like, I literally just moved in rhythm with the stars and moon. Like, and then who came up with the idea that cycles were 28 days and they needed to be consistently that every month? Probably a man. I don't know. I should fact check that before I say that, but yeah, it really blew my mind. Like, I have not ever felt, it was so funny because I went from the night before feeling like something was broken and wrong with my body to feeling more right, more in tune, more in rhythm. And so, why am I telling this? I think, you know, I'm creating a lot of content about your menstrual cycle as your fifth vital sign, but there's so much about nature and so much about the human body that we're still learning, you know, and I think Western medicine gives us a lot, like the illusion that like everything's figured out. We know everything about the body. And I frankly would not be alive without Western medicine. So I'm not saying Western medicine knows nothing, because that would be BS. But also to assume that it knows everything, I disagree. and I'm just excited to kind of keep plugging into this. So I guess my challenge for myself is showing up here even when I'm really in the unknown, because those whole that whole period was really intense, and I really did feel like I was in the unknown. And had I come on here during that time, I would have told you I lost my period, but I don't know. And that's awesome. And I actually thought for a while about starting a podcast called I Don't Know, because I feel like you get online and you consume information and it's people just like speaking fact about what they know and what they've learned. And I think that's really valuable, because when we hear ideas from other people, we're able to create more and see, oh, I don't have that, or I don't know that, I want to know more. And then I can't tell you how many times I've started to learn about a thing and think I know so much and then realize I know nothing. But that whole process of learning was important. And so anyway, I'm getting really like meta here, but those are the things that have been bouncing around in this noggin. And yeah, other updates. I'm house sitting, so this is not going to be a consistent background, but it's beautiful, isn't it? I'm just taking care of this really cute dog. It's a golden doodle, and taking care of this house. And so that's been fun and great for my budget. So yeah, drop below your thoughts. Tell me what you're thinking, questions you have. I'm not kidding you. I think about this channel frequently. I have some ideas, big ideas of what is upcoming, and ideas I want to try on this channel. I also feel like, I love talking about menstrual cycles, and I want a lot of my content to be about that, but there's also more I want to talk about, and other content I want to try. So you've been warned. And yeah, this was really fun, and I love you guys. See you next time.